Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. This episode is brought to you by Rebecca Kearsells of the Rising Dawn series and Martin Crumbs of the Valor of Valhalla series. You too can become a sponsor by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. And now, let's get into the show. Warning. Listening to this episode may cause your TBRs to grow in size.
Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional, the indie author podcast supporting indie authors from all around the world. I'm one of your hosts, J.A. Bryden. With me always is the wonderful Ryan, our resident reader. How are we going, Ryan?
I'm good, mate. Living the dream. Still reading lots and lots every night. I went and saw a new movie which I didn't know much about on Thursday called Fuse with Sam Worthington,
All right.
Aaron Taylor-Johnson. It's a British movie set in I don't know exactly where it's set in, but basically a construction site. They discover what they believe to be a live World War II bomb when they're digging, and turns out like a heist is happening at the same time. Hijinks ensue, and it's very good. I was expecting it to be something different, and I was pleasantly surprised. So, it's called Fuse. Make sure you check it out. I think it's got a limited release in the cinema, but yeah, very, very good.
Cool. Well, I do love a heist, so put it on my list. Excellent. Well, guys, remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Crumbs, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. All their links are down below. If you want to join our Discord, where a lot of the magic is happening, please reach out. We'll give you the link. So now we're gonna dive into an episode talking with Canadian author Joel Nedecky. Really, really great chat, wasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely. He's a crime thriller writer. Got his debut book out at the moment called The Broken Detective. Sounds really good.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's dive right in. Joel Nedecky, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So the question we always start with is who is Joel Nedecky?
Joel Nedecky is a crime writer from the prairies of Canada, from a city called Winnipeg. My day job is I'm a high school English teacher. I spent the majority of my childhood and 20s playing hockey, so I don't do that anymore, but I do coach my kids' team. And yeah, you know what? Now I'm putting a lot of time into this writing thing.
Awesome. So what's your favorite ice hockey movie then?
Ice hockey movie. Ooh, I have to go with Slapshot. It's a classic. But there's another really good one. What's it called? With Rob Lowe, surprisingly. I think it's called, if I'm remembering correctly, Youngblood. Yeah, I remember that's the character's last name. Yeah, it's actually a really good movie. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's a good one.
Yeah, I only know the mainstream, the crazy ones like Mighty Ducks and
I like those two. To be honest, but as far as a good hockey movie, I think Slapshot's probably still kind of at the top.
What's the one with? Is it? I don't know if it's Russell Crowe. It's like a small the small town.
Mystery Alaska.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That's a tearjerker, that one. I remember after Mighty Ducks, I think that was the first sports movie that I ever watched. I watched it with my family, and I remember it being, I haven't watched it in a long time, but I remember it being very emotional, very, very good and very emotional. So,
yeah, I'm a big fan of Russell Crowe. I think he's done a lot of films, especially I think, years ago that were just really well done. Really well done. He's a great actor.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
we don't claim him as our own. Everyone says he's Australian, but he's New Zealand. Like we do this a lot, like a lot of.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was Aussie as well. I didn't know that. But
Everyone, like I think he lived here for a long time, but he was born and raised in New Zealand. People do this all the time. They go, Nicole Kidman, Australian. Well, no, she was born in Hawaii. You know,
oh wow, okay,
Mel Gibson was born in New York. You know, it's just like
yeah. They
we
get
can,
attributed to a certain place, I
Yeah.
guess, and then that sort of that legend or myth follows them around.
Yeah. But we can claim Chris Hemsworth. We can say that he's
Hemsworth. You know what? One of my favorite crime novelists actually right now is from Australia. I was going to mention him too. A guy named Ian Ryan. He wrote a book called The Strip. It's really good. It's about corruption. I think it's on the Gold Coast of Australia, like in the 1980s. Apparently, it's based on a true police corruption scandal or something that went through that part of Australia. But he's a great writer. Really, really good. Kind of, if I had to compare him to anyone, almost James Ellroy-ish, like that short, kind of choppy prose. But he's really good. He's still, I think he just put a book out recently in 26, so he's doing his thing now as well.
Well, there's another good crime police thriller writer we've had on the show a few times. His name's Jack Roney. He used to work as a police officer dealing with child abuse and all that kind of thing. Then he just wrote a series of books with the one detective. The first one, I've got all three of them digitally and hardcover or paperback, sorry, but they're really good. I think the first book's called The Angels Wept. But yeah, Jack Roney. I've read his first book, I think, twice, and all the others once. He's really, really good crime author. So if you're looking for another one, definitely check him out.
Yeah, I'm writing that down right now. I'm always looking for books. My list is hilariously long. It's a list that I'll never catch up on or ever get to the end of, but I'm a list guy. So like anytime I can put together a list of things, I just like having it. You know, I like going back to it and working with it and looking at it and reading interviews with authors. It's just great. I really enjoy that.
It's my TBR right there. There's a stack right there.
Oh yeah.
All indies.
I'm a digital reader because I literally read for at least 3 to 4 hours a night, every single night. And my TBR list since we started this podcast, I just literally looked at it then on the Kindle app, is 193 books. And I've already I set myself a goal to read 50 books this year. And I've got a list on my tablet, on my notes of all the books that I've read, and I'm up to 12 at the moment. So I'm going strong. But yeah, I read for like 3 to 4 hours every night. So I absolutely love reading.
Me too.
I've always loved reading, but I felt bad. I was in hospital for quite a while in 2024, and I really got back into reading then. And I just, every time we do a podcast, like I just said, 99% of the time I buy the book because they just sound so amazingly interesting.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I think like, even I'm thinking about my students in my classes right now, and it's like a big part of my job is just trying to sell exactly what you just said so well. There is just the idea that, when you find what you love to read, whether it's a genre or an author, or a topic or something, like, it enhances your life. It's not just something like, it's entertainment, of course, but I think it just makes you happier. Like you sink into a book, the story, the characters. And I feel like a lot of young people nowadays, there's so much fast content, and I don't think you get that same relationship with a 20-second TikTok video that you do with a book that you've put some time into. And I think that's something that, it's not lost. It's not lost. There's definitely readers still out there, young readers and whatnot, but I do think it's harder than ever to really sell the idea of books being these exceptional portals to some other world, and I agree with what you said. I think reading it's one of the best parts of my life.
Definitely. No, and it's something that I look forward to every single day. Like I don't, as I've mentioned to our listeners before, I'm a massive night owl. I literally go to sleep at like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, but I go to bed at 7:30 because I do my reading
Yeah.
in bed. I've got a nice bed where I can sort of recline and get into a comfortable position. I'm deaf, so I turn my hearing aids off, so I can't hear anything else, and I just dive in, and I'm in that world. And before you know it, like 3, 4 hours have gone past, and I'm like, I'm getting a bit tired now. Oh wow, I've just been reading for,
Yeah.
three and a half.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah. That's great.
I love every book I've read so far this year has been amazing. I haven't read a bad book yet, so I mean, I can't complain about that. And I'd much rather have 192 books waiting to be read than have 0 books waiting to be read and have to try and find something, that I haven't read.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
All right, let's get these icebreakers going.
Sure.
Do you want to go first, Ryan? Since these are slightly new icebreaker questions because the folks in our Discord threw some suggestions our way, so we're mixing it up. So Joel,
Okay.
you get the updated. You're the first one to get the updated version, so
Okay.
no pressure.
All right. So I noticed you left out one very famous dynamic duo for the first question.
They're examples. They're examples.
Question number 1. Who is your favorite dynamic duo? Example like Timon and Pumbaa, Batman and Robin, Rick and Morty, that kind of. So who is your favorite dynamic duo? It can be movies, TV shows, comics, books, doesn't matter. Just who
Yeah.
your favorite are.
I thought about this one for a while and I still haven't decided. I wrote a bunch of notes, like I was saying, and I thought I would just speak to it in the moment. The first duo that came to mind is, and this speaks to a later question as well, but True Detective season 1 with McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. I love the Rust and Marty, the 2 police officers who work together to try to solve that murder in that first season. I think they're amazing. They work well together, and that would probably be my choice from TV shows. Yeah, so I think that's probably my number 1. I don't know, it's kind of not maybe as famous as some of the examples there, but I think that's a combination I could watch forever.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with that. In my opinion, the first season of True Detective was the best season by far.
Definitely. Yeah.
I just think that they just played so well off each other, and that I think they were the perfect choice for the first season going forward. So 100%. I couldn't agree. No, I couldn't agree more. That's a really good choice.
Excellent. So what's something on your bucket list?
Bucket list. This one actually is the one that stumped me the most because I didn't know which direction to go. I was thinking, should I go personal life? Should I go like writing life? But ultimately I went with the writing life thing. And I think, just where I'm at, like as far as having one book out and still, learning this, I think eventually if I could ever release a book with a medium size to large publisher, I think that's something on my bucket list. Having said that, I also, I'm happy with an indie press. I think at some point, to be honest, I'll probably self-publish as well. I see self-publishing as a really good option for me, my personality and how I like to be in control of things and how organized I am and such. I feel like I'm the kind of person that, for me to organize myself in that way with editors and cover people and whatnot, I think I'd be good at that. So the bucket list would be to move up in size of publisher, but at the same time, I think I'm definitely happy doing what I'm doing.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Jamie's going to bring up a visual aid for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with the famous Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
So based off Mount Rushmore, obviously, they're 4 very well-known and influential presidents at the time that this was made. What, in your opinion, what would be on your Mount Rushmore of television shows? Can be any genre, any era, any, doesn't matter if they came out in the 1900s or came out last week.
Yeah.
What would be your top 4 shows, in your opinion, that you love and can rewatch over and over again?
So I have to go with The Wire would be one.
Yeah,
Hugely influential on me. I watched it, I don't know, 20 some years ago, probably. So that would be one.
Mm-hmm.
Second one would probably be, I think I'd have to go with The Sopranos. I think just because I love The Sopranos. It's very influential as far as the serialized TV goes with HBO and whatnot.
Yep.
My third one, this is where I don't know if I can go with like longevity or just top quality. I think for the third one, I'm gonna take as far as one season, True Detective season 1 has to go on one of my 3. I just have to put it there. I love that season so much.
Yep.
And then my fourth one is another heavily contested spot here on this mountain, and for my fourth spot, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna take a turn here. I'm gonna go Seinfeld. I just last minute decision, but I love that show, and it's not in my crime genre, but I love Seinfeld, so I'm gonna stick it on there.
Awesome. I like it. Very, very solid choices. The Wire was great for its time, and it just, I remember watching it, probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on HBO Max out here, or Max, or whatever they call it out here. I've been meaning to get around to rewatching it. The Sopranos is my all-time favorite TV show, so I can definitely agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah, me and my wife watch it at least once every 2 years maximum from start to finish. I kind of came out when HBO was sort of just, starting to get into these kind of taking the risk that we now know them for. I think the first season either came out in 99 or 2000. And, I know that's crazy to be saying that that's so long ago, but it is.
Yeah.
And it still holds up. We watch it. The last time we watched it was last year, and it still holds up. Absolutely love that show. So definitely can get behind that.
Okay, cool. I also the fifth. If there was a fifth, I was gonna say Game of Thrones. I really like Game of Thrones, especially some of the earlier seasons and whatnot. Peaky Blinders is another honorable mention that I really enjoyed. So I could go on forever talking TV, but so that's probably my 4 of my favorites anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome.
I love that it's dark, laugh.
Yeah.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Because
every once in a while you got to throw it on just to kind of forget about the world,
Yeah.
And Seinfeld's a good one. If for whatever reason, we've got the TV on when we used to have Foxtel, which was our sort of cable TV out here. It doesn't matter what episode from what season. They're not really in a. You can watch any episode. You could watch an episode from season 2 and then go to the last season, and it doesn't matter when you watch them.
Exactly. It's so true.
It's just so, and it is. It's comedy when comedy was really good and really simple, and you can just have a laugh. So definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So Dr. Emmett Brown leaves his DeLorean parked in your driveway. Where or when are you going?
I would go probably back to, I think I'd go to the 1950s and maybe kind of be in like a madman suit and in an office smoking cigarettes all day and making business deals, or try to see how that whole era looked. we watched Mad Men a little while ago too, so that was on my mind. But I also think the 1970s, that was my other choice. I think before a lot of the technology really advanced in the 80s and the 90s and whatnot. I think the 1970s, just as an era, no specific event or anything, I don't think, but I definitely would like to try living in that decade.
It's even when the cars got really cool back then too, like all the classics that everyone wants to drive, the Mustangs and all the detective cars, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Those cars are, they'd be awesome to drive.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to have to consult my guide because this is a new question as well.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is titled Hot Air Balloon or Janky Sub? So basically, would you rather fly in a homemade hot air balloon way up in the sky, or would you rather go in a homemade submarine way down to the ocean's depth?
I would go in the sub.
Okay.
I would go in the sub because I'm afraid I'm not good with heights.
Yeah.
So that would be part of my answer for that. And the ocean is really cool too. There's so many different things to explore there. A homemade sub, that would be the questionable part, but I'd take ocean.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that both are questionable. It's whether you want to fall to your death or just crush.
That's true.
Big rush.
That's true. That's true. I think I'll still go ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, like we mentioned, we updated these, but this came from an recent kind of author live stream channel called Mirthquake that shut down, and one of our members on Discord said, "Hey, why don't you carry on that was the question from that show?" And they had a tally for Team Janky Sub and Team Hot Air Balloon, you know. So we're carrying it on we're carrying it on in Mirthquake's the honor of Mirthquake. So thank you, Sam Robb, if you're listening, for suggesting that.
So that's one for the Janky Sub so far.
That's one.
Yeah, 1-0. Exactly. Janky will take the sub.
And it's funny because most people said hot air balloon.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife thought I was crazy for taking. She's like, "What? Why would you do that?" I was like, "I don't know." I think
I would probably do the submarine as well because I think your death would be quicker.
Yeah,
you know,
it would just explode. I think, right? Or
no,
implode. I don't know which one it would be.
You'd implode.
Yeah,
because that's
the pressure, I guess.
Well, that sub, the homemade sub that went down to the Titanic a couple of years ago, that happened. It was like it's just like instant, bang, gone. You know.
Whereas if the hot air balloon goes, tops or whatever, you've got like at least probably 30 seconds to a minute before you die. And you could see
that'd be a terrible minute too.
Like see your death.
Yeah.
See your death. It's like that Bill and Ted. I think it's the second one where they're falling and they scream and they scream and they scream and then they go, what's going on? And then they scream and they scream because it's just never ending.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Awesome. Well, you have passed the icebreaker questions.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Now we get to learn about you, and the question that we want to ask is, what is your author origin story?
My author origin story is that when I was in high school, I guess I kind of fell in love with movies, and it was the 90s, right? So kind of mid to late 90s when I was in high school, and it was a very interesting time for movies. So people like Quentin Tarantino were making movies, and Robert Rodriguez and Kevin Smith was doing his thing with Clerks, and Richard Linklater made Slacker and then Dazed and Confused. So I really wanted to be a filmmaker, and that was my introduction into stories. And then I was obsessed with movies. I'd watch them all the time. That continued. I mean, I tried a little bit of screenplay writing and such, but nothing really substantial. And then I didn't really do much with it. I mean, I became an English teacher, so I'm talking about stories all the time and writing and whatnot. But I actually didn't start writing where I was doing it seriously until about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I was around 40 years old when I started. And I guess I just decided, I don't even remember the moment, but I just decided to do it with more commitment. I guess I felt kind of like I'd always wanted to do it, and I either wanted to quit doing it and just quit having that as a dream, or I wanted to actually do it. And I just had enough of the back and forth, and I starting and stopping, and I started writing. And when I wrote The Broken Detective, I sent it into the Crime Writers of Canada, which is the big crime writing organization in this country. And it was nominated for Best Unpublished Manuscript. And then from there, it took a while to find a publisher. And then the book came out in 2025. Funny enough, today, as a matter of fact, it was shortlisted for Best First Novel by Crime Writers of Canada again. So it kind of felt like a little bit of a full circle moment this morning, just because 2 years ago it was the unpublished, and now as a published book. So yeah, that's how I got here. That's my origin story.
Nice.
Awesome.
So it was being traditionally published always the goal? Is that like thing that you want to do?
I think I would say that that it was. I probably have a little bit of imposter syndrome, I would say, a little bit, just with writing. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a strange thing we do, writing on your own and then having people read it. And I think maybe for the first book especially, I needed that validation, just to have somebody else like it and to get help finding its way to publication. But yeah, I've been very interested in self-publishing as well. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the self-publishing show, which has changed over the years, is one of the shows I listen to quite often. So I feel like I do know some about, the self-publishing world, but I think the traditionally published thing is sort of what my first goal was.
Yeah. There's a lot of pros in it.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of I'm indie all the way, because
Yeah.
I'm a control freak. I'm a control freak,
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, it's mine. Because I one of my books, I went hybrid until they went bankrupt. But
Yeah.
even then, like, they weren't too controlling, because my book was already previously published, and they just republished it and gave it a new cover, and the cover was amazing. So I was like, I'm not complaining about that cover,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't have the patience to. It took a year and a half for it to come out. I'm going like, where's my book? Where's my book? I want my
That's
book.
one of my main issues, is the time. It's incredible. It's just incredible, the waiting that you do to hear back, and then the edits go back and forth, and it's just, the process is incredible. And I feel like for me, exactly what you were saying, if you timed everything properly, like I feel like I have right now, the sequel to The Broken Detective is done, I would say, pretty close. I mean, it's going to need some revision, and then I have another book that's in pretty good shape, and then I have a fourth one, or a third unpublished one, that I just did a first draft. So I feel like these books, by the time they get out, like even The Broken Detective, I wrote it 5 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago, by the time I did something with it, and then it got to the publisher and editing and all that. So it was a few years for sure. And the patience that is required for publishing is incredible. It's incredible. And I think indie might afford a more, I don't know if it's a direct route or a quicker route, or something like that.
Well, it's definitely quicker, but you don't have the marketing powerhouse of a publisher,
Yeah, but even indie presses, like, really, they don't have the resources that a bigger publisher would have. And to get to a bigger publisher is, I mean, there's a lot of luck involved. You have to be, I think, you have to be good, of course, but you also have to be right time, right place, and have somebody who falls in love with your book. Yeah, and then they're going to sell it for you. That's the way.
Did you ever watch an old movie called Airheads from the 90s?
I did, with the guys with the long hair who take over the music. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
do that, but with like an indie publisher or a traditional publisher to bring your manuscript in there and take over.
Yeah, exactly. Take it over. That would be awesome. But yeah, I don't know, man. Publishing the world it's it reminds me a little bit of music, where like I grew up on punk music in the 90s too, so that's kind of my thing, and I still listen to that kind of music. But a lot of those guys, they opened up their own record labels because they didn't want to deal with the other guys, right? And some of them have become hugely successful, like Epitaph Records and Fat Records and all those kind of places.
I was going to say NoFX, because
NoFX is one of my bands from long ago. So I think publishing is kind of like that. Like, you can do that now with indie publishing. You can sort of do a punk rock release of sorts. but eventually you do have to find the readers, and that's the challenge. Is how do you find readers? Like, I always think, what makes me want to read a book, and then I try to in some way do that in social media or going on podcasts and meeting people. And I think helping writers is huge too. Like, I've connected with lots of writers who will help edit each other's stuff and just be friendly online and email, and that can open doors too, just to new readers. And it's just a good thing to do, networking like that. And it helps you as well. It gets you, I think, into a different headspace to edit somebody else's stuff.
Yeah. All right, let me bring up the cover of this book, and we can talk about your book and see if Ryan will buy it if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
All right, The Broken Detective.
Yeah.
So, first off the bat, how'd you go about the cover? Is it something that you designed yourself, or did you just go, here, you do it, someone?
It's through the publisher that they have somebody that they use who actually like designed it. I gave the suggestions as far as what I wanted. I wanted like the figure sitting in front of the bar. I wanted his back shown. Originally, I saw him sort of more of a straight on, like directly from behind, like a film shot like that.
Yeah.
But this is sort of what it morphed into, with the bottles in the background. Of course, the drinking being kind of the main, or one of the antagonists, I guess, in Jake's life. And just the bright yellow was my idea too. I just saw it as like black and white with a big yellow title, just to sort of contrast, I suppose.
No, I like it. I think it's simple. You can tell immediately. Obviously, yes, it is it's called The Broken Detective, but he could be broken in many different ways. But clearly, obviously, like you say, the drink is one of the antagonists of the story, and it is such a common thing with with any kind of with police service, with ambulance service. It's a really freaking hard job, and you have to be a certain kind of person to be able to see what they see every day and still go to work every day. So I'm not surprised why a lot of people turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism. But obviously that's something that your protagonist goes through and deals with throughout the book. So why don't you give us a bit of a rundown, a bit of a synopsis on what the story's about?
Sure.
Just let us know what we can expect once we dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake is the main character, and he grew up in and out of foster care. So his parents, I mean, they weren't abusive purposely necessarily, but they definitely were neglectful in a way that had him removed from the home. And from growing up in those circumstances, I guess he found his way to the alcohol, as you say there. But the premise of the story is that prior to the book beginning, his mom is still struggling with addiction and mental health issues. So when her boyfriend assaults her, Jake goes after the guy and hurts him pretty badly. And when the book opens up, he is in front of a judge, and he's going to be going to prison. So his lawyer is able to, I guess, negotiate a 2-week period of time for Jake to get his affairs in order, because he is basically the sole caregiver and financial support of his mom. And in those 2 weeks of freedom, he gets hired to find a missing woman, and then the story goes from there. So in those 2 weeks, he's trying to find the missing woman, and he's trying to sell all his stuff and get as much money as he can. And he's drafted out the amount that he needs to sustain his mom while he goes to jail for what he figures will be about 1.5 years.
Okay. And obviously, the case that he's hired to work on would essentially take over his life for that 2 weeks. Aside from
that's right. Yeah. So that case, he's finding he's hired by a woman whose sister's disappeared, and the sister, Sadie, has connections to this. She's recently left a like, I guess you'd call it like a mega church, like a really big, powerful church that her life is very much a part of. And when she goes missing, it's obvious that something has happened, and Jake tracks her down through this kind of network of people involved with this church.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, Ryan. It was Joel Osteen.
I knew it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Anytime there's something stuff going on with the mega church, we blame Joel Osteen.
Yeah. Well, there is kind of a character like that, though. There is a character, Brad Walton, who is a little bit of the I don't know what you'd call him.
Smiles too much, charismatic.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Very much like that. And he's a salesman. He's good at what he does, but ultimately, he's manipulating people, and that's where Jake tries to get involved and figure out what exactly happened to Sadie.
Cool. So, what were some of your inspirations behind the story? Like, were there things that you got ideas from?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as reading goes, like, I've always been like, I know we mentioned the crime thing, but specifically, there's a writer named Dennis Lehane who is from Boston. I guess famously, his books would be Shutter Island or Mystic River or one of these books.
Yep.
These are his big ones, right? But he also has his first series of novels with two private investigators in Boston, and they kind of solve crimes. I love George Pelecanos, people like Michael Connolly, who's a huge author, and when I read his books a long time ago as well. I also read a book by a guy named John Krakauer, who writes nonfiction, and he wrote a book. And I'm just looking up the title here again. That's right. It's called Under the Banner of Heaven. And this book is about, it's about, I guess, a fundamentalist church in the United States, and some of the I guess the inspiration for a couple of the characters in the church and whatnot partly came from this book, where I just wanted to portray like the mindset of how somebody could be a part of a church like this, and how, it's from an outsider's perspective, it might look incredibly foolish, right? You might think, well, why would you do this? But I think when you are looking for a place to fit in, when you are looking for people to love you and care about you and support you, and somebody's giving you that, and you don't have it in other parts of your life, and they're telling you to do this and do that. I think that's how people can get lured in by cults, and I think that book influenced that mindset, and that was a big part of the story, is trying to make that believable.
Did you watch the series on that? Because I think they did a series with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, like the documentaries, was it, or was it an actual?
It was an actual series. I think it was on Prime or something.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I should watch that though.
Well, I love Andrew Garfield, so I'll watch anything. I watched a few episodes. I don't think I never got around to finishing it. But there's also another actor who's one of the most underrated actors, who's in everything Canadian. He's in Stargate and stuff like that. Christopher, he's got a last name that I cannot pronounce. But he turns up in everything. I'll see if I can find him.
In Stargate.
If you watch Stargate Atlantis, he's called Todd. He's Todd the Wraith.
Okay.
He was in Hell on Wheels.
I know that show a little bit. I think I watched some of the early episodes. I liked it, but for some reason, like you were saying with that other, I never finished Hell on Wheels, but
and it's not that it was bad. It's just like other things came up,
Exactly. That's how I felt about it as well. I felt like, oh, okay, like I just didn't finish it, but it was good. No, I can't think of his name.
I'm trying to find, but he's not even turning up. Oh, there you go, Christopher Heyerdahl or something. I'll see. You know what I'll do? I'll do share screen because.
Okay.
Hang on. I'll stop that one and I'll restart that one. I'll go over here. This guy.
Yeah, he looks familiar.
like he's literally in everything, but he's only a minor character in a lot of
Chris
stuff.
Heyerdahl, yeah, yeah, like a character actor, eh?
Yeah, but he's brilliant. He's in
Yeah.
Sanctuary, uh,
Oh, cool.
so he's in those for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, he looks. Yeah, I can recognize him now.
There you go, creepy guy.
Yeah, he's got a look to him where he almost looks like Norwegian or something. Like he has kind of
Yeah,
that
he's
that
quite
look.
tall too.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, he's one of my favorite actors who's just like whenever he turns up in something, I'm just like,
yeah,
it's that guy.
drawn to him a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close that. I think we lost Ryan because his internet probably cut out.
Okay.
He probably tried to buy your book, but he'll be back.
Yeah, blew
He'll be
up his
back.
connection.
Yeah. In the meantime, there's a sequel coming to The Broken Detective, yes?
Yeah, yeah, there will be one. It takes place. It begins right when Jake gets out of prison. So at the end of the first book, without giving too much away, I guess he does end up going to jail, and he gets out in the second one, and then he has to decide what he's going to do with his life. If he's going to start up his private investigation business again, if he's going to go work for his mentor character, who is a part of the first book as well, and in the second one, he's hired to find a missing university student this time, and then that's where the plot goes from there.
Cool. So do you see an end for the series, or is this going to be like just a crap load of books like Jack Reacher or or The Lincoln Lawyer or like
No, I see an end to it. I see there's going to be three for sure.
yeah.
I haven't written the third one yet. The other ones I finished are standalones, but the third one I have an idea for it already. And then in my head, when I started this thing, it was going to be five. I was thinking to do with this character, but yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess, with the second one and beyond. Do you write in series, or are you like? Is it primarily fantasy,
No, I'm multi-genre. I just
multi-genre?
I genre is the last thing on my mind. Like it's just like
Yeah.
I have a story I want to tell. Like my first book, um, you got to see the cover because everyone. This is the book that sells the most. That one.
Okay.
No, that's
Awesome.
based on a true story.
Yeah.
So that's like historical fiction, but it's all written by emus. Just writing
Oh,
letters and journal entries. It's like a history book, but so you
but
can
from
open it.
perspective of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's all anyone ever wants to talk about. It's that book. And I get it because it's just you can't walk past the cover. Um,
Yeah. It's unique.
yeah. But then the next series was a series of novellas I did, which was based on screenplays that I wrote, which was the zombie apocalypse starting at a medieval themed Bucks party, um,
Yeah.
comedic. And now I'm working on a series, but it took me a while to get there. It wasn't going to be a series; it was going
Yeah.
to be standalone. And then Ryan kept bugging me, going, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Oh crap,
Yeah.
it's a
Cool.
series now." So
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on that now. But
So is your TV watching like that as well? Like, are you multi-genre, a little bit of
yeah,
everything in
well,
TV too, or do yeah,
there's things I don't like, but I'll watch
yeah,
anything if it's well written.
yeah,
Like I don't like the slasher horror gore stuff like that, but I
yeah.
don't mind horror more like M. Night Shyamalan horror. Not all this stuff
Okay.
I love, but I appreciate being creeped out more than graphically violent. If you know
Like
what I
the
mean?
graphic violence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I don't like heavy romance. Like it's just
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll watch anything like sci-fi, um, comedy. I'm huge on comedy. Like Scrubs is my
Yeah.
favorite show. So
The new one too is out, eh?
yeah,
Or I think you're.
I've only watched two episodes. Um,
Oh, okay. I saw the commercial for it. I haven't watched the old one. I watched a little bit, but the new one I just saw they were rebooting it. Is it the
yeah,
same cast, or is it have
yeah, same
they
cast, same showrunner. Like, I watched the first
Oh, cool.
episode and I was like, I don't know, I wasn't happy with one decision they made. Then
Yeah.
I posted about that on X, and then I woke up the next day to 35,000 views, and the creator
Oh,
Bill Lawrence responding to it. Uh, so I was
wow.
just like, all I said is like, I didn't know, like, I love it, I love Scrubs, but I don't know how I felt about this, and everyone's like, just, I'm just like, Well, now I feel obligated.
Positive or like negative stuff coming at you?
Well, there was negative and positive.
Yeah.
But Bill Lawrence basically said this is why we chose to do that.
Oh.
Like he wasn't, bummed. Like first thing he said, like first of all, thanks for watching. Like
Yeah.
But he's really interactive with fans and stuff. So, and that response that he gave me, I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, I'll give it a few more. But I've watched 2 episodes. I will probably watch the rest of it. But it's good. It has the same feel, the same vibe, but it just didn't give me that. I need to watch more. Like back when the original show, I'm binging it like nothing else.
Yeah. Bill Lawrence was on a podcast called Armchair Expert maybe 6 months ago with Dax Shepard. I listened to that episode and remember really liking the episode and just listening to him talk too. Yeah. So he sounded like a I don't know, an intelligent guy who was interested in conversation and such. But that's really neat that he responded. That's a big name for, to respond with on X like that. That's pretty that's pretty good of him.
He's probably my biggest writing influence. Like when I write books, I'm like his style. I love that he can switch between comedy and drama, and it's just like that. Like Scrubs alone is just like you're laughing and then suddenly you're crying, and it's just like he can balance that so perfectly, and that's why he's a hit. Like he's he did Ted Lasso.
Awesome show.
Shrinking's pretty good.
Awesome. Shrinking's great too. I love it. Yeah.
Like even some older shows that he did, like that only lasted 1 season. They were all fantastic. There was one old show called Surviving Jack, and it was set in the 90s. And it's like this high school kid whose dad's a complete a-hole, played by Christopher Maloney, and it's just funny. It's just so well written.
Yeah, I didn't know he did Shrinking, but maybe I knew and I forgot. But I'm a big fan. I haven't watched the newest season of Shrinking, but we're gonna do that soon. We're just finishing up a show right now, and then we're gonna get into that one. So
cool. We're just talking about your favorite subject. This happens every time that your internet cuts out. We just go straight to Bill Lawrence. Like it goes to Bill Lawrence.
No, you know what? I was trying to Google Andrew Garfield, that TV show, and then literally my internet just cut out. So I'm like, I'll just put it on the list for later.
Next time, ask me, and I'll just bring it up in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might do that just to make Ryan. What's the show called again? Because if I type in Andrew Garfield, it's just going to show me Spider-Man.
Well, I just wrote Andrew Garfield's cult show.
Cult show. What was the series called, Joel, again? Or that was the book?
Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yeah, Under the Banner of Heaven.
Yeah, I found it here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that.
Oh wow, familiar faces in it too. I'll have to revisit because I'm pretty sure it's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on. It says where to watch Disney Plus.
Oh, it is Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Ryan.
Okay, Under the Banner of Heaven. Cool.
A devout detective's faith is tested as he investigates a brutal murder seemingly connected to an esteemed Utah family's spiral into LDS fundamentalism.
LBS, yeah, and I know all about that.
The distrust in the government.
Well, I've watched recently. Me and my wife have watched a few documentaries on that psychologist who was holding she was a Mormon psychologist, and she was holding I forget her name. She was holding kids hostage in her house in Utah. There's a few new Netflix documentaries that have been out over in the last year or so. And also my wife loves the show Sister Wives, so I've watched that with her. So I know all about the LBS Mormon multiple marriage thing.
That'll help you with The Broken Detective then, because there's some crossover there. There's some crossover there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I didn't even know it existed. So perfect.
There you go. Cool. What were we talking about? I don't know. A lot of stuff.
We were talked about inspirations.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what we'll steer it. Are you only planning to work on this series, or do you have other series in mind? Other, maybe still crime novels, but have you got other stories that you want to work on in the future?
Yeah, I'm really working on these this one book right now. It's still a crime novel, but The Broken Detective is in first person, and so is the sequel. So the third book I wrote is like a third person limited with multiple points of view, and that's one that I'm really hopeful something happens with. It needs a little more work still, but I'm gonna do some standalones. The crime genre, I guess, is kind of my favorite, but I also have a desire to do some other stuff. Like I am at some point going to write a book about hockey. I don't know
Mhm.
how that's going to happen or what it's going to look like. I haven't
Crime hockey.
decided.
Crime
You know
hockey.
what? I actually have an idea to have a crime in it, but I don't know if it's going to work. And I also don't know what tone I want the
Yeah.
book to be because I have a love hate relationship with hockey. So
Yeah.
I think I have to wait until I straighten that all out in my head before I write it, or I think it could just be a mess if I go in with an
Yeah.
unclear plan, you know.
Yeah.
And I that's definitely something I want to do. I do like science fiction as well. I don't know if I have the chops to write sci-fi. Like
Mm,
I'm not as well read in sci-fi, so I don't
yeah.
have the like the confidence, you know. I feel like with crime, I've read hundreds of books. I know it in and out, but that's also something I'd like to try is I don't know if it would be a dystopian future or if it would be something else, but I really like those types of stories. So I think in that realm, I would also be
Yeah.
really interested in thinking. I have a couple ideas that are percolating, you know, but nothing fully fleshed out at this point.
Yeah. I really want to write fantasy one day, and I've tried about three times, and I'm like going, I'm nearly there, but I don't think I'm there.
Yeah.
It's like,
So
yeah.
in the fantasy genre, who would be like an author or a book that you read or somebody who's like really good that somebody who could pick up a book who didn't know about fantasy, like who would be a name?
Well, I think the easy answer is like Tolkien or C.S. Lewis, but but like
Yeah, yeah,
in the indie sphere, like Tim McKay's really good. He's got a flintlock fantasy,
yeah.
um, that used to be on my shelf, but I gave it to my brother-in-law at the moment.
Yeah.
The Fall of
Tim McKay.
Selvandrea, I think it is. Tim McKay's great, and he's just
Yeah.
an all-round awesome guy in the indie sphere. Like he's
Oh,
just
cool. Okay.
uh, a powerhouse, real nice
Yeah.
guy,
I'm gonna write
fellow
that down
fellow
too.
fellow Canadian too.
Tim McKay is?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Where does he live? Do you know?
Oh, I can't remember. He'd kill me because he's been on a few times.
Okay,
Um,
Tim McKay.
uh,
Yeah, I'll look. I'm gonna look that up too. I always
yeah,
try to read outside the genre a little bit, you know, just as much
yeah,
as I can. I feel like just to see what else is,
yeah,
what other books are like, you know,
yeah.
and just try to
I,
take that
I I
in.
don't read enough, and I'm really trying to up my game. I've been meaning to get onto Audible as well because I have a 40-minute commute to work every day, so it's
Yeah,
why waste 40 minutes?
yeah. Audiobooks are great. Do you have if you have a subscription to like Spotify or something? If you listen to a lot of music, they'll
Yeah,
give you. I think I get 15 hours included with like every month of
yeah.
audiobook time. So I always listen to audiobooks as well. I'm actually listening to one right now called The Last Kings of Hollywood
Mm,
about Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg, and just how they came up together. I didn't know that these guys knew each other back
mm,
then. Like they were actually quite close for a while.
yeah,
But it's a really good book. It's the stories are great. Just all the names they're dropping, and like Martin Scorsese shows up, and they're just I don't know, cool names
yeah.
from the film,
Yeah,
the annals of history. You know.
it's great. Well, that's like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were good friends. Um, I found out recently that Andrew Garfield, Charlie Cox, and Robert Pattinson all used to live together in the same apartment.
Oh wow,
Like
that's
so, it's just
yeah. There's those little connections that are neat.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
Stuff
think
like
you'll
that's
do you
awesome.
think you'll do an audiobook for the Broken Detective at some point?
You know what? That's I've looked into it. It's expensive.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if I will for the Broken Detective. I think that
Yeah.
the I don't know if the um like the money you'd have to put into it if I would get it back. I don't know, but I do love audiobooks, and I would love to do it. It would just have to make financial sense. And with a small publisher, I think that's something I would probably be footing the bill for. I don't know how we would work that exactly. I'd have to check the contract, but I think I would have the audio rights if I ever did it myself. But it's a big financial investment at the beginning, and then you'd have to, I guess, just weigh the numbers.
Yeah. Well, there is a company called ACX. It's not available in Australia, so I can't do it. Where you like you either pay for it or you royalty share. So you can you'll get a whole lot of narrators audition, and then you can choose like, oh, we'll just split the proceeds. Like that's how you'll pay me, kind of stuff. That option is really good for indie authors, just not if you're in Australia, because it's not available for us.
Yeah,
we can fork out.
Yeah, that's really, I'm gonna look that up too. That sounds like it would be something that I would definitely
because I feel like, especially noir and detective, like it's just giving that character that voice, because a lot of it's like first person, so you're listening to the detective.
Yeah, there's a really good one. James Lee Burke has a long running series. I don't know if you know James Lee Burke. He's an American writer. He must be 90 years old now, honestly. But he writes a character who's a huge influence on my Jake Joelson, called Dave Robichaux is his name. And he's an alcoholic, Louisiana, that whole thing again. But I forget the actor who reads for Dave, and he is amazing. He is amazing. It's exactly like you say, like you see him as the character, and you're invested when you're listening. It's great.
Well, I find Spotify, I do use it, Spotify as well, but I have an Audible subscription, and I've got, probably about, 50 or 60 Audible books, because I've had my subscription forever. But
cool.
I'm a massive horror fan, and I've recently, since we started doing this podcast, I started reading a lot more horror and loving it. But listening to an audiobook of a horror book, especially, and I'll give you an example. There's a horror author called Molly McCabe, and we've interviewed her. She has a post-apocalyptic series. Both two books are out at the moment, but the first book is called Dark Bloom. And I read that book, and then she also sent me a key for the audiobook. And in her story, she has like the thing that sets her zombies or infected apart from everyone else is she has these laughing zombies. And like you read it, and you're like, okay, cool. But then you listen to the audiobook, and it is just bone chilling.
Really?
Listening to, that's why I find with horror, especially, listening to the audiobooks is just, for me, I could read the book and then listen to the audiobook and have two different experiences. So yeah, definitely Audible is fantastic for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Have you read an author by the name of Keith Rawson?
I haven't, no.
He's got a book I read a little while ago. It's called Fever House. And I think he has a sequel out now, and it's like a blend of horror and crime. So it starts off these two, they're like for hire leg breaker type characters. They go to a guy's house because he owes money, and they're going to collect the money, and they're looking for it. And they open the fridge, and there's a severed hand this is right at the beginning. And so it's not really giving anything away. And it's in a plastic bag in the fridge. And it's just a great book. It's a great book. He had some indie books out before that too, actually. And I think Fever House is the one that sort of blew him up. And now he has like a big 5 publisher and everything. But it was a really good book. And it was kind of, I'd say zombie-ish sort of, but it more crime horror, I guess I would say, rather than just zombie. But it's good. It's really good book.
And that was called Beaver House, was it?
Fever House.
Fever.
Okay, cool. I can't look it up now, otherwise my internet will break.
Yeah.
That sounds
for sure.
really good. I want to get into it. So
It's a good book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll try and pick it up after the podcast.
Another book I think that you might like, Joel. I haven't read, but Ryan has. Who put Bella in the Witch Elm by Blake Myers.
Yeah,
That's like a
yeah,
detective supernatural.
it is. It's very, very good. I couldn't
Who
put it
put
down, to be honest with you.
Who put Bella in the Witch Elm?
Yeah, like
Yep.
WYCHELM, Witch Elm.
Oh, no. W-I. Okay.
So it's based on a true crime,
It is. Yeah.
an unsolved murder. They basically, I think it was over in England where they found this woman's body like in a tree, like a witch elm tree.
Jeez.
And nobody knew who she was, and so they gave her
Yeah.
the locals gave her the name Bella. So that's Blake from Ryan should be describing this because I'm just going off what I've been told. But
Yeah.
It's about a CSI, a lady CSI in England who gets sent to. She's gone through a tragedy of her own, and that unravels throughout the book. But she gets promoted to proper CSI position in this one town, and it's a small town. They don't normally get their own dedicated CSIs, but the town's funds pay for one CSI have to be there at all times. And it's a couple of different things going on there, supernatural elements, crime element. It honestly, I didn't want to put it down. It's a big read. I think it's like 450 pages, but
Okay.
I think I read it in maybe a week. It was my second best book I read last year.
Wow.
When we did awards at the end of last year for the best read, I had to pick, and like every week I was swapping between the first, like the one who won and the second. So it's amazing. It's really good. It's a mix of, police procedural, supernatural, crime thriller. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love all those genres. Like the police procedural is I think part of what drew me into like the Michael Connelly stuff a long time ago, just because I love the idea of following clues and just having somebody investigate. And then when you weave in, like you say, the more of a crime thriller element and then supernatural, it can really work. I think it's a balance of maybe knowing how to do all those things, and it's hard to do. I would imagine. I've never tried to weave in the supernatural, but when it works, it really works.
Oh, this works. It works really
Yeah.
well because I was familiar with the actual real case, the real. I've listened to a few podcasts on it over the last 10 years, and when we had Blake Myers on, I'm like, oh yeah, I know all about that, and then I bought his book and I sat on it for I think like 6 months because I had so many other books, and then I thought, I'm going to read this. And I couldn't put it down. I literally could not put it down until I finished it. It was amazing.
Okay, it's on my list. That's sold, man. Sounds good.
Awesome. And he's indie too. I think the ebook cost me, I think, $6 to buy. And I think the paperback's only like between $10 and $15 Australian.
Okay,
so it's another.
Very affordable.
That's what I love about indie authors. I can spend $20 for the price of a traditional published book, and I can usually get 3 or 4 books. So, and they're all just as good. So, 100%.
Yeah, books are not cheap anymore, especially like if you go to a bookstore and you look at a physical book. If it's a hardcover, it's they've really gone up in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I actually for the first time in a long time, last Tuesday, I went into an actual bookstore. I had to go back to, me and my wife moved about a year ago, and more to a better disabled friendly house because I'm in a wheelchair. And I used to go to a shopping centre, Blacktown, and because I'm deaf, it's where I get my hearing aid service. But there's a really big bookstore there, a QBD bookstore. And I thought, we're here. I'll just go in and have a look. And man, I'm glad with the amount of books I buy. I'm glad I buy them digitally because, it's just you were looking at any kind of book that I was interested in, horror or crime or biography, you're looking at $35 to $40 minimum for a paperback.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah, it's really
and
gone
these
up.
are all traditional published. Like I grew up on Stephen King. He was one of my favorite horror authors, but he brings out a new book pretty much every year, and just because it's by Stephen King, it's $40 paperback, $70 hardcover. It's just insane.
Yeah, that's steep. That's too much.
Yeah.
Even for I like Stephen King too, but that's asking a lot of the reader, I think, to pay that every year when he's putting out these books like that. So I agree. I think
when you can just go to the library.
Even
that's what I do mostly, to be honest. I'll buy people's books too, but
I saw a post came up the other day about a guy who got arrested for breaking into a library because he wanted to finish a book. It was just it was going there every day to read it, and it's just like it was driving him insane. So he broke into the library to finish it.
That's commitment. Yeah.
But no, even trying to get a Stephen King ebook from Amazon, they're on the $19.99, the expensive end of ebooks. I generally will wait till Amazon have a Stephen King sale or something and then just stock up then. That's pretty much what I do with my traditional authors. I just I follow them on Amazon, and then Amazon sends me a message saying, hey, we're having a Stephen King sale or a John Flanagan sale or whatever. And then I just go, okay, I'll buy them all that way. But at least with indie authors, I can pretty much buy them on the spot because I haven't paid more than $7 for an indie book.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a benefit for sure.
All right, before we jump into our game, let's do the indie advice segment. Now, you can answer this question any way you want. Usually, maybe we say, okay, what's some advice you'd give your younger self when you started writing, or if you just generally want to offer some advice to upcoming writers, what's something you've learned along the way?
One of the things I do now that I never used to do is I keep notes along the way. So I have timelines and things. So as I go, I will make, I guess, like a table where I have the chapter and I have the time of day. I have the word count. I'll have a little summary, just a couple sentences of what happens, just to keep the continuity of the scenes, because I'm a very disciplined writer in that I do it every day, but I don't always get long stretches to do it. So it's like I'm chipping away at it. And sometimes you can spend a lot of time just getting back into remembering where you were in a particular place in the story. And I think just keeping notes like that can help you save some time if you're not going to get big chunks. So I think that's just as far as a little organizational thing. That's one thing I would remember, or I would suggest, I should say. As far as the other thing goes, other advice I would give, I think don't write to the market, I think, is one I would give as far as advice, because it's, for me anyway, there's times where I've thought, hey, this just sold, maybe I should write something like this, but it's years, like we've talked about, before the book even comes out. And even then you're sort of not really writing authentically from your own voice. So I would say definitely read a lot, and then find a story that you believe in, and then tell that story no matter if it's at the top of the bestseller list or not, and then make it your own.
Yep. I 100% agree. I do not write for the market. I don't even know how to market my books because they're multi-genre within themselves. It's just it's like mashing whatever. The story comes first. The story comes first.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think that's good advice, I think.
Excellent. All right. Are you ready to play a game?
Sure. I've heard it a couple times, so I sort of know it's going to be.
Okay. Well, for those who may not know, the game is called Story Pitch. We have a setting, a genre, a main character's profession, a crazy addition. And you're going to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each of these categories. And then you're going to pitch us a story. It can be as in-depth or as not as in-depth as you like.
Okay.
There's 2 rounds. We call the first round the practice round, and then the second round is for the metaphorical money. I had to
Okay.
say metaphorical because people kept saying, "Oh, we get paid for this." No. So if you're ready, give us 4 numbers between 1 and 12.
Okay, so for setting, I will go 3.
Yes.
Genre, I'll go 8. Profession, 2.
Yeah.
And crazy edition, 12.
12. Ooh.
Okay, I was going to say you're doing pretty well until the crazy edition, but that's okay.
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 Get
So,
through that.
well, I don't know, man. The setting is the zoo.
Okay.
And your genre is a legal thriller.
Oh, wow. Write these down. Your main, oh, geez. Your main character is a detective. How did that happen?
Wow.
And your crazy edition, which is something or someone that must appear in the story, even if it's very brief, are dinosaurs.
Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be a legal thriller. Okay, so it's gonna be the detective is like new to the job. So it's their first case after making detective. They're in their high 20s, and they have been assigned this case that somebody sent in footage of a dinosaur in the zoo walking around, and they've been sent there to see exactly what's going on, if someone's playing a hoax, or who's responsible for this video, because it's made the news and it's causing problems. People are flooding the zoo and they're trying to get it's become a big problem at the zoo, and the detective is going to eventually learn that that at the zoo they have been playing with AI, and they've incorporated this AI into these robotic dinosaurs that have started to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's it. That's my story. I don't like it, but that's my
what
We only require the pitch. You can fill out the story later if the pitch gets approved.
Yeah.
We just need the basic rundown of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's the smart one, because we never said the dinosaurs actually have to be real dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They can be robotic, AI controlled. Very well done.
My mind actually went straight to, hey, it could just be the legal ramifications of Jurassic Park. It's just like
and I didn't incorporate the legal part of it yet. That'll have to be in the fully fleshed
yeah. Well,
story.
he's he's a detective, so he's doing his work for the case. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the practice round. So you can give us the same numbers or give us new numbers, because the graph is different.
Oh, the graph is different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For setting, I'll go 3 for setting.
Yep.
Genre 1. Main characters profession 10, and crazy edition 2.
2. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Your setting is a high security prison.
Okay.
Your genre is dystopian post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
Your main character is a comedian.
Okay.
Your crazy addition, which is someone or something that has to appear in the story, even just for a little bit, is a sentient cactus.
We've only had that once.
A sentient cactus.
Yep.
Okay, so it's
I think that was a user submission.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
yes.
so it's gonna be.
It's a dystopian apocalyptic setting genre. Sorry, it's a high security prison. Your main character is a comedian, and it's got to have a sentient cactus. A cactus.
Okay, so where my brain goes here, this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be in the year 2060. All forms of comedy have been made illegal. So they're putting all comedians in prison. And
Okay.
the main character is a woman, sort of like a Sarah Silverman type
Oh,
of
yeah.
a edgy
Yeah.
type of a comedian um, who her shtick was that she would do jokes about cacti, and when she ended up in prison, uh, they forced her to share a cell with a sentient cacti as uh, like payback for all the jokes that she made prior to being arrested. And it's a very dark time. It's a very obviously humorless time in this wherever this story takes place. And the main character is going to have to decide if in the prison she is going to stop telling jokes or continue.
I like it.
Sounds
I
like
like
a
it.
prickly situation.
I that's hard. That's hard to do, but I think you could take the idea of comedy being illegal and make like a serious
Yeah.
movie about that. I think that would work. I think.
Yeah.
The cacti threw
Definitely.
me off. That's what threw me off.
That's what the crazy edition's always about.
Absolutely.
Well
Awesome.
done. Well done.
Thank you.
And I will remind you that when we finish recording, you can offer up extras. Like you can pick a setting, you can give us a genre, you can give us a main character edition, and we'll add it to the graph because we're building a third graph. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But
Okay. Sounds good.
anyway, thank you for joining us. This went ridiculously
Yeah.
quick.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
So we'll give you the floor to plug what you want to plug. Tell our listeners and viewers where they can keep up to date with what you're doing. Anything you want to tell the audience, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? My website's the letter J, jnedecky.com. And there's a bunch of free stuff on there, short stories and whatnot. You can sign up for my newsletter. I guess I'd finish by saying, you know, if you like gritty crime fiction, if you like stories of redemption, stories where somebody has been living a certain way for so long and they know they have to change, but they just don't know how, then I think you'll like The Broken Detective. It's also a mystery, so I think that the two things, the redemption story and the mystery, go hand in hand. So check it out. I always love hearing from readers, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Thanks for coming
Awesome.
on. Yeah, so guys, if you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, please check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Crumbs, our honorary sponsors, Alexander Robb and Janelle Schiecke. All the links are down below. If you want to join our Discord, which you probably should, because it's where we're starting to organize most of our multi-author episodes and even our single solo episodes, reach out, we'll give you the link. And until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.